would say just competition. There's been some great competition. We got a great room. We've added some speed in the portal. We've added toughness in the portal, and I think leadership. And I think our room is closer than it's been since I got here. We're a family, and these new additions have really helped the guys that are returning, or maybe some younger guys, pick up their game as far as learning the playbook, maybe finishing harder out there, because there's so much competition at every position that it makes it fun as a coach. You see guys flying around all day and competing with the guy next to him.
Taylor's shown a pretty good connection with Raylan, especially the first few practices we've seen in the slot. How have you seen that kind of relationship develop, maybe summertime working together outside? And, how important is, with Raylan, with Cam, that slot position going to be for your group this year?
It's very important in this offense. And I think Raylan, his familiarity with the offense, he's played in it. I think that's a huge help as far as him coming in. Knowing the offense now, he's just focused on leading the room, getting everybody together. Him and Taylon's chemistry has gotten better throughout the summer. And the good thing about them, too, is they have history from high school, too, from the same area. So they've known each other. I think they were on the same high school team probably for a year or so. So they have a history together. They have a relationship, and it's really helped us on offense for sure, just replacing that spot in the slot.
With that competition that you mentioned, is there a number, like we got to find this number of guys that we trust, or a range maybe that you're looking for for a wide receiver rotation?
Yeah, when you get into the travel squad, it kind of gets to that point where you got to, make decisions on, 8, 6 guys, whatever we're going to travel with. And I think it's some really tough discussions right now. But the good thing is it's practice 4, and I'm excited. Like I said, all the competition every day, it makes it fun for me watching guys compete out there, and they're all trying to make plays, but we're together as a unit. And that's the thing that stood out for me this offseason, challenging them to come together more as a family, because I think that's going to help us win a championship. Obviously, we're closer and not individuals.
You guys brought in a lot of new receivers in the spring, and it sounded like from talking to Sam that he wasn't really interested in bringing in any more receivers, but then you brought in Andy Jean and Jalen Brown. What was the thought process with bringing those two guys in late?
Just having more depth at the position, and I think bringing in Omega and Raylan and Cam, guys that have experience, and then we needed some more speed. So we wanted to get 2 fast guys that had some playing experience, which they both have in the SEC, and with Jalen playing a little bit at Florida State as well. I think they walked in, they know how to practice at this level, they know how to run a route at this level and win, and I think their speed has really showed up and made our room faster as a whole. I feel like we're a lot faster this year as well.
A lot of times we'll ask Sam about specific players, but sometimes he just brings up Antonio Jordan without us even asking about him. What has stood out about him, and is he going to be able to help you this year?
Yeah, it's hard not to bring him up. Throughout the recruiting process, getting to know him and everything, he's such a great kid. And the thing that stands out is he loves the game. I mean, more than anybody I've been around as a freshman, just his love for the game, his hunger to be coached. He's already been coached great in high school. His technique at the position is way further ahead than most high school kids coming in, and it goes to the Warren coaches down there. They get the receivers ready technique-wise, and now he's just like a sponge. He wants all the information he can take in, as he really wants to play this year. And I think talent-wise, he can definitely help us on offense this year. And it's fun every day turning that video on and watching the plays he makes, because one time a day he makes that wow play where you're like, man, this kid is going to be special. So right now it's just helping him not feel all the pressure of the whole playbook, and getting him the packages that he needs to learn and take those steps to slowly build within this offense, because he's going to be a special player. It's just a matter of time.
What do you feel like C.J. Brown needs to do to kind of take advantage of his opportunity out there?
Yeah, C.J. last year, he did a great job as a freshman. He was that rotation guy. I needed guy to go in the game. I trusted him because he came in early, learned the offense, and now I'm challenging him to take that next step. Be a starter in the SEC. Be a guy that, can be reliable third down, and then be tough and go compete. And, as a freshman, he got that experience on the field, and I think that's helped him this whole offseason. He's acting like a pro. He's working every day harder and harder, and just challenging him in the run game. Every play as a starter, you got to be out there every play, playing to the whistle. So it's him being a full-time player now instead of just a role substitution type player.
We saw Omega Blake make a lot of strides, basically from spring break on, it seemed like. Just how did you see him kind of develop from the time he got here through now, and what do you feel like his ceiling is?
I think he's got a very high ceiling. He came in, it's a lot of offense to learn, but luckily he came in the wintertime, got the offense down, made strides in spring ball, kind of came in on at the end of spring and started making some big-time plays, making people miss in the open field. the thing about Omega that I like is he's a competitor. He's tough. He's explosive, very coachable. I can coach him as hard as I want. He takes it, and he loves it. So he wants to be great, and he's always asking, hey, how can I get drafted higher? How can we help us win a championship? I've challenged him to be a leader this offseason in the summer because he was new in spring trying to learn everything. Now we're trying to bring more leadership out, and he's stepped up. He's been more vocal. He's trying to push guys and just continuing to push him to lead by example, and I want him to be the guy.
Christina snagged my Omega question, man, right out from under me. No, but he's consistently gone with the ones and Sharp and CJ for a good bit. What maybe has led to those decisions that those guys have been with the ones most?
Just as in this offense, it's a lot of offense. So just that trust, their alignments, their details on the routes, the blocking schemes. But like I said, those three are running out right now. But every day it's open competition. Some guys are getting reps with the ones. Those guys are going with the twos. Just right now, every day we're constantly changing the depth, challenging somebody. Maybe, hey, you're going with the ones today, and seeing how they react. Because competition brings the best out of everybody, and I think there's so much of it right now that it's making our offense better.
You mentioned challenging CJ to be better in the run game. Who really stands out to you as like premier blockers as receivers?
There's some, those little guys are tough, man. Cam and Raylan, they do a good job in the run game, but Monte Harrison does a great job. He's going to have a bigger role as far as, doing that type of thing and blocking using his size. Antonio Jordans does a good job blocking, but really every receiver they're asked to block, and if they don't, they're not going to be in that starting rotation. So just challenging the whole room because, with Taylon Green back there, he can take a zone read to the house 90 yards, so we can't take a play off. And, with Mike Washington back there now, we got explosive guys that can go to the house. So we have to do our job and block for these guys, and we'll have explosive plays all down the field.
I think we're talking to Monte today. So has he got any big plans for the big 3-0? And then also, what do you see about his why? Like he's doing this at about age 30.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Monte. He's a special person, man. He's almost similar to, I can lean on him as like an assistant coach. I want a message to the whole room being delivered. I can work through him sometimes. He can deliver the message. That way I create more leadership within the room. And, instead of me trying to bring these guys together, I have him. He's been a pro. He knows what it takes to win at a high level. So he's been a huge help in the room, and he's really taken some huge strides this offseason to become a big-time player. I think he's going to help us a lot this year.
So last year was your first year here, but you had a lot of guys here that had been here a year coming in. Now it's your continuity, but a lot of new guys. I guess getting to finally kind of assemble a room that is yours, what were you kind of looking for?
Yeah, we had a good plan as a staff. Coach Pittman and Coach Petrino kind of gave me the outline of what we wanted to look for. Obviously experience, losing those three guys that were seniors that played a lot for us, and Satania. So we had to get experienced guys, but I wanted tough guys that have a chip on their shoulder that want to compete. And I think like you said, recruiting those guys, building a room, I feel like we're closer because they're all guys that, we went out and recruited, and they all have the same mindset. And I feel like our room is just trending upward right now. And I know there's not really a starting three right now, but every day I feel like we're getting better and better as a room.
It seems like just in drills and stuff right now, y'all are really detail-oriented, just like on depth and things like that. Kind of early stages of fall camp, what's the point of, like, I guess right now honing in on those before you can move to, I guess, whenever y'all get in pads?
Yeah, it's just it goes with Petrino's offense. His offense is so detailed, so complex that the yardages are so important. We take one step too short, I'm going to hear about it. So just making sure in Indy we're constantly perfecting our craft, and that gets us more separation in the route concepts. If we're cutting our route short or, bending a corner on something, we're not going to be as far open. You know what I mean? So we want separation. We want run after catch this year. That's the main thing we're focusing on as well in our room, is run after catch. So every day in practice, I expect them to sprint 30 yards downfield and get used to making somebody miss and get used to making a big touchdown. So that's the other thing we're trying to focus on as well, more yards after catch this year.
Going back to Monte, he had played baseball for 10 years, but could you tell last year maybe he had to knock some rust off when it came to football? And does it seem like he's done that this year and is more kind of fluid with the football stuff on the field?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. He was so raw coming in last year, just not having to get out of a break in a while, run a comeback, run a curl, those type of routes. And I think, like I said, he's taken huge strides to where now he's a big-time player, man. And I think he's going to explode in this offense this year, and we're going to do some good things with him and use him in different ways that Petrino likes to do with big guys like that.
You had a guy named Andrew Armstrong last year that led the conference in receiving. How important is it to find a go-to guy like that, or would you rather it be kind of more of a distributed amongst the whole unit?
Yeah, this offense has always ran through all the guys. Every skilled player on the field, Coach Petrino believes in spreading the ball around, and feeding the studs. Armstrong was our stud last year, so Petrino fed the studs, So this year I think we have way more depth, way more speed, a lot more toughness, like I said, and I think there's going to be guys making plays across the room and not just, the one position.
Omega's been a couple years at South Carolina. Do you just think that's helped him had an easier transition to Arkansas?
Yeah, it has. He's definitely adjusted well. He's played in this conference. He's played in a complex offense. A lot of the carryover from his offenses he's learned before have kind of carried over to us, so it kind of helps out with him learning. But just the high level of intensity, the competition, the toughness it takes to win on a route in the SEC, he understands that. So I think that was a big thing in recruiting, was just finding somebody that's played at this level that can go dominate and win a one-on-one.
And then you talked about just having guys who could make big plays. He certainly is one of those guys. How important is it to have him and what he can do in the open field when he gets the ball in his hands?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, you look at his yards per catch last year, and our focus, like I said, was we want more yards after catch this year. And looking at his numbers, that was the first guy I wanted to go get. Just his average per catch was unbelievable. I think it was almost 25 yards per catch. And I think you insert him in Petrino's offense, I'm excited. He's going to take off and hopefully have a better year than last year.
Sam the other day was saying that he knows that he has leaders in the wideout room. He just needs to figure out who's going to be vocal besides maybe Monte. Who are some other names that are turning into that?
Yeah.
And how?
Yeah, I think how they've earned that right is just through their work. The whole room sees, who's working the hardest, who's putting in the extra time, and those guys are stepping up. Guys like Monte, I mentioned, Omega's trying to be a leader. He's being more vocal. Like you said, he's played at the SEC. He knows what it takes. So bringing those young guys around has been huge with Omega. And, Raylan Sharp, having played in this offense, being a senior as well, he's tried to lead. And Cam Shanks has came in here and tried to lead as well. So I think everybody's being vocal in the room right now, and it's awesome. We break it up after practice. It's like a competition for somebody to step up and say something to the room. So you love to see that as a coach.
Staying on the Omega theme right now, the big catch, the yards per reception last year, it felt like sometimes looking at stats like a little bit boom or bust. Is there part of you have to work with him on maybe the shorter routes, or is that just part of maybe the scheme in Charlotte? Is that something that?
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that, what happened at Charlotte, but I know with the talent, you put that talent in Petrino's offense, teach him the position, I think he's going to excel and have even, more production per game, like you're saying, instead of, up and down. I think, as long as he continues to put in the work, keep competing throughout camp, and I think he'll be just fine when we get to game one.
I'm curious, inside the room after the CC injury, were there conversations with any particular guys like, this is a bummer for us, but this is your opportunity? How did the room maybe approach that injury?
Yeah, he's a vocal leader in the room as well, and I think him coming in the wintertime and earning a job, being out there with the ones at times it was tough for him. It was tough for the room, because he's a great kid, a great leader. I think, like I said, it's brought our room closer. He's still vocal. He's still helping guys out. He's another coach on the field, and I think it's definitely brought more guys along. Hey, I got to compete. I got to, bump up the depth chart. I got to go out there with the ones or the twos and make plays.
What's next for Antonio Jordan? What are the next steps in his development that you want to see him accomplish before the games arrive?
Yeah, I think just every day, me and him just having a plan. What are we going to accomplish today? Hey, we're going to learn this. Not throwing the whole playbook and overwhelming him. That's the main thing. I don't want to overwhelm him. I don't want to put too much pressure on him because he's got the talent and he cares so much, and he wants to do the right thing on every play. So just controlling his reps, putting him in the right situation to build confidence. as a young guy, you always want every day, especially a freshman, their confidence to go up. You know, they have a bad rep in one-on-ones as a young guy. You know, they may get down on themselves. So just building his confidence every day, because like I said, he's going to be special, and every day he's making that wow play, and now we want every play to be a wow play.
Another freshman, Jacaden, I can't remember what his injury was in the spring, but it looked like he started off pretty fast, and it seems like he's kind of picked up. What does his future hold?
Yeah, I think him coming in the wintertime definitely helped him as far as the mental game, learning the playbook. He showed his explosion in spring and laid out for a pass and broke his clavicle. But now that he's back, he took that time to learn the plays. He's jumped in fall camp, and there hasn't been any confusion with the routes or any of the plays. He's stepped in, and mentally he looks like an older player instead of a freshman. So now it's kind of like Antonio, using that talent, building that confidence every day, because he didn't get all of spring ball, so now this is his first camp basically right now. But he's a very explosive player, bright-eyed kid, big smile, and he loves football. So I think just adding guys to the room that love the game, that compete, has really helped us this offseason.
About everybody, I think maybe at Crutchfield. What do you need to see from Courtney?
Crutchfield, he's got great talent, man. Like I said, every guy in the room just has to keep learning the offense. You know, he's made a lot of plays these first 4 practices, and it's just being more consistent every day. Keep learning the playbook, be great in the run game, pass game, and just be a full-time player. But he's very talented, man. He's strong. He's got great hands. He's made some 50-50 catches, and that's what we wanted to see this fall camp too, is who's going to step up and make those 50-50 catches. And he stood out with that. You know, obviously Omega Blake, Antonio Jordan. I mean, I don't know if you can call it 50-50 when the ball's in the air with him, but he's going to go up and get it.
I think we all wrote in spring that with Armstrong and Tesla gone, you didn't have a lot of 6'3", 6'4s out there in spring.
Right.
Was lack of height any concern for you guys?
It's different, you know what I mean? Last year, I mean, I was looking up the whole year in the room. I mean, we had Broden 6'7", you know, Tesla 6'4", Armstrong 6'4", so size is definitely a good thing in this conference, you know, but I thought, you know, with working with the staff, what we were looking for, you know, Omega Blake, you know, he's 6'3", he's tall enough, and I think, you know, speed and getting open on a route is the most important thing. If you can get open, you know, size doesn't matter in my opinion.
You don't just fall into number 5 around here. How did Jacaden get 5?
You know, he graduated early, and the number was open, and Coach Pittman decided to give it to him, and I think, you know, he's honored that number throughout this camp so far. He's been a great addition to the room, being out from spring ball, just having that extra explosion and speed, and he's coming every day ready to work. Just the program he came from in high school, they're a very tough program. They all love the game, so he stepped in here and just brought a different energy to the room as a freshman, and I love coaching Jacaden Ferguson.
You mentioned Antonio Jordan. His technique was really good, got really good coaching at the high school level. Warren knows a thing or two about producing wide receivers. I'm curious, do you pick those coaches' brains on what their secret is? Or?
No, I mean, having spent a lot of time down there, it's really helped me figure it out how to motivate Antonio. You know what I mean? How his coach motivated him, how he pushes him. Like I said, he's a very coachable kid. I can coach him hard, you know, but he's a great kid that just loves the game. Like I said, he wants to be coached hard, and he's used to it. So just building off what Warren's built with him and just continue to push him to be great is all I can do for him.
You've been with Coach Petrino for some time now. Just how have you seen him evolve with just the changing landscape of college athletics? Kind of how has he evolved with it?
I would say Coach Petrino is pretty much the same. I mean, he's the same guy. He's always going to try and outwork the competition, man. He's a fierce competitor, and he has the same demands in this offense that he's had since my first year working for him in 2015. And I think that's what makes him the best, is he doesn't change. You know what I mean? He will adapt and evolve to the transfer portal era, the NIL. You know, we've all had to adjust to that. But I think it's the same game for him, and it's the same offense that we've been running for a long time. And it's withstood the test of time, so we just got to keep demanding the details and demanding that these guys play full speed, and it works. You know what I mean? It's worked for a long time. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.